Hi guys, welcome back to my IGTV. I have a really exciting video that I'm making right now. I've been getting asked this question for so long and I've been wanting to answer it for honestly 3 years. It's probably one of my number one most asked questions in my messages. So today I'm gonna be talking about my dance history, kind of my background of my dancing, how I kind of developed the style that I do now. So I don't really have, I haven't really written anything down. I kind of just wanted to do it organically and off the top of my head. So if you're interested, continue watching. So let's see. When I was 3, the very first dance class I ever took was at a rec center country club when I was really young. We still lived in Arizona at this point, so my mom just took me to those little kid classes. And then we moved to Arizona when I was 6 years old, and my mom saw an ad in the newspaper. I've posted about this on some videos before. My mom saw an ad in the newspaper for ballet class, and she knew that I loved the other classes that I was doing in Arizona, so she took me to the Academy of Colorado Ballet. And I took one ballet class and I was absolutely in love with it. So I started taking ballet class and a couple other classes just for fun when I was 6, 7 years old. And then when I was 7, 8 years old, one of the teachers had asked me if I wanted to audition for the company, which was where you practice. You're assigned a number of hours during the week that you have to dance, and then on the weekends you work on dances for competitions, you go to conventions. It was the company of Academy of Colorado Ballet. So I auditioned for that and I was a part of that for a couple of years, literally until high school. I did all the competitions, conventions. That's when I first started doing solos. At this time I also did cheer classes, little girl cheer classes where it was just through my school, I think. And then I also did acrobatics. When I got into competing with the company with Academy of Colorado Ballet, because it was you had to pick a certain amount of classes to be in order to compete, I did literally everything. That's when I really got into doing ballet, jazz, hip hop. I did tap. I literally competed in everything. That's kind of how the studio worked. And I was really into ballet. The base level of everything at that studio was ballet because it was a ballet studio, so I did the ballets with Academy of Colorado Ballet. They put on ballets downtown. So dancing with Academy of Colorado Ballet is kind of when my really intense training started. I was dancing every single day, all day. On the weekends we were traveling and performing all over the place. So then when I got to high school, I really wanted to be a part of something through my school. So I decided to try out for the dance team, the Palms dance team, and they competed all the different NDA, UDA competitions, and they did camp. And I was really excited to get to high school to be a part of that. That was a really big thing in Colorado, was doing dance teams. And so I tried out and I danced with Rock Canyon Palms for the 4 years that I was in high school. And then along with dancing with Rock Canyon Palms, I competed with a studio called Rhapsody Performing Arts Center, which was in Denver. And I just wanted to keep up with my dance training. I was so in love with dancing that I knew that it was what I wanted to pursue. I would literally get out of school at 2:50 and I would have practice with Rock Canyon Palms from 3 to 6, and then at 6:30 or 7 I would have rehearsal with Rhapsody Performing Arts Center until 10 o'clock. And I did that all through high school. My social life was my dancing and everything that I did. I didn't really focus on my school as much as I should have. All of my focus was on my dancing. And dancing with a dance team is really technical. So we were practicing our turns and jumps, and everything is really clean and in unison, if you're familiar with a dance team. Also, I have all these videos on my YouTube still of when I competed with Rock Canyon Palms. So if you want to go check those out, go to my YouTube. But after high school, like I said, I wanted to dance. I wanted to come to LA when I was 17 years old. I graduated when I was 17. I was in love with dancing and all I wanted to do was come to LA and dance, and I had first gone to LA when I was 13, and with Academy of Colorado Ballet, we did like a performance at Disneyland, and we got to like come and see the studios in LA, and that's like kind of when I fell in love with it. And I never really gave up the idea. When I was 13, I was like, I'm gonna move to LA because taking class was like incredible, and there's no place to train like LA. So after high school, I was set in my mind on the idea of going to LA, and I remember sitting down with my parents and talking about the different colleges that I wanted to look at, and I just kept telling them, I want to go to LA, I want to go to LA, and my parents were like, you need to go to college, you need to go to college. And at the time I was really interested in like some of the dance teams, but I didn't get my mind off of LA. I remember they would host auditions in Denver for these different dance companies in LA where you could get scholarships where you could like take class, and I wanted to go to school, like a performing arts school. And I remember my parents even told me no, that I couldn't go, and I went and auditioned anyways. And yeah, I was so in love with dance at this point that I made that like company that I tried out for, and then also I agreed with my parents to go and try out for all the different college teams that I was interested in. And so my training in high school was basically for my career as a dancer and for the college teams that I wanted to try out for. So when I was coming out of high school, I wanted to try out for like all the big top dance teams. And at the time, they were like the most highest nationally ranked teams. So when I was coming out of high school, I had a list of the college teams that I was gonna go and try out for. I kid you not, guys, I was so obsessed with the idea of being on one of these dance teams that I missed my high school prom. I missed all of the dances. Like, when I say that dance was like my social life, that's all that I did. I remember me and my mom went and looked at all the different schools that I wanted to go to, and I tried out for like 6 or 7 different teams. I had to put together like a lot of solos and stuff to try out for these teams, audition videos, things like that. They're all on my YouTube. But I ended up going to the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and their dance team at the time was really competitive in hip hop, and that's exactly what I wanted. Growing up, my favorite styles of dance was ballet. I was in love with doing ballet and being in the ballets, but besides that, it was hip hop. And so, yeah, I made the team at University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and I went to school there. I didn't even start going to school there, but I was training for like the first 2 weeks. I hate telling this story because I hate giving up on stuff, but it's like vital information for like my whole dance background. So I trained at UNLV for like 2 weeks, and I actually ended up calling my mom and going home because I was really far away from my family. My family's so close. Here I'm like, I wanted to go to LA when I was 17, and I went to Las Vegas, and then I dropped out and went home. And I ended up going to school at Fort Lewis in Durango, Colorado, which is the coordinates, which I have tattooed on my side, which I also get a lot of questions about. I'm answering so much stuff in this video. That year was like really hard in my life because all I wanted to do was pursue dance, but it's like a giant step because I was so used to just being with my studio and being with, you know, like my high school dance team, and everything was kind of, I was close to my family. Like, I was really comfortable in Colorado, and so the idea of leaving Colorado to go dance somewhere else where I wasn't gonna be around my family and stuff really freaked me out. So yeah, I went to a school that was 6 hours away in Durango, and I danced there with the girls. It was really fun. It just wasn't as competitive as I wanted. I wanted like someone to be really hard on me. I wanted to grow as a dancer. I was like determined, you know. So that year I made a list of all of the top teams. I trained by myself a lot. There wasn't a lot to do in Durango dance-wise, and so I knew that I definitely wasn't in the right place. But I got my grades up. I focused on school that year, and then I got into every single college that I applied to the following year. And then I tried out for like 4 different dance teams, or 3 different dance teams. 2 of them were in Colorado and 1 was in Texas. And so I made the 2 teams in Colorado through video auditions, and I decided to go and try out for Texas Tech in person. And I was like obsessed with the idea of going to Texas Tech. I remember I put pictures all over my wall. My wallpaper on my phone was Texas Tech. I wanted to dance like I wanted to be on one of these dance teams like the team in Texas. I wanted to be on a really competitive dance team, and my goal at this point was to dance professionally, like on a dance team. I wanted to dance for the Broncos, the Dallas Cowboys, the Nuggets. Like I wanted to do dance team stuff after college, and so that was my goal at this point. There are like so many different layers to this video that I didn't realize when I started recording it, so I keep having to stop it and like collect my ideas. But okay, at this point I'm in Durango, my random year in Durango. So I tried out for all these different dance teams. I went to Texas in person to try out for Texas Tech, and I made the team. And God, this was like a really pivotal point in my life because I had given up the team in Las Vegas, and it like broke my heart to have to do that because I had worked so hard through high school to be on that team. And I went home, and guys, like this was such a pivotal point in my life. I don't know, now I'm getting into other stuff, but I was literally driving to the audition in Texas, and my grandma died. Like I was so close with my grandma that she was like my second mom. My family is really close, and I was really close with my grandparents. And so on my way to this like insane audition that I had worked all year for, and I wanted so bad, like the mural of the stuff all over my wall, like I was manifesting so much to be on this team, and I'm driving to audition, and like one of the closest people in my life passed away, and this was just so hard for me. And so when I got to that audition, I just wanted to make the team, you know, all I wanted in the whole entire world. I had come so far, I had only come this far, you know, whatever the saying is, I didn't come this far to only come this far. And I remember sitting down in my interview and telling them that was what I wanted more than anything. And I just really wanted to work hard, and I wanted to be trained. And I have never been happier leaving somewhere. I remember I left the Texas Tech audition, and I had already auditioned for 2 teams in Colorado, and I literally didn't know what to do because my mom was like, "You're really gonna go to Texas?" Like the first time I went to Las Vegas, it obviously didn't work out, and she was like, "You really want to go to Texas? Like you have these teams in Colorado that you can go dance on." And I just felt something so strong in my heart about going to Texas, and so that's what I did. I signed to dance with Texas Tech, and then I got an apartment in Texas, and that was that. That started my 3 years dancing at Texas Tech. And this was like the most incredible experience. Like the experience of being on a dance team, I couldn't have asked for a better experience at Texas Tech. It was such a competitive program. I grew so much as a dancer. I feel like everything that I had worked on growing up was like perfected and polished being on a really competitive dance team. And that's kind of where all of my technique now comes from. We practiced insane amounts of hours, and we competed nationally. This was the first time that I won like a huge award with the team. We actually won nationals in my senior year. I think it was 2016 at the NDA Nationals in Daytona. So yeah, Texas Tech was huge for me. A lot of the training that I throw into my dancing now is from Texas Tech. And so now going into my dancing now, when I danced with Texas Tech, and I had done the dance team 4 years in high school, and then the 3 years with Texas Tech, and my goal at the beginning of all of this was to dance professionally with a dance team, and that's really what I wanted to do. My senior year dancing at Texas Tech, I got really into competing women's bikini bodybuilding. Me and one of my girlfriends started doing it, and I loved the idea of being able to focus on just myself. And so I was doing the dance team, God, maybe it wasn't my senior year. It was my junior year I started doing that, because my senior year is the year that we won nationals. But anyways, I had been on the dance teams like all in high school and all in college, and dance teams are really important for it to be about the team. Everything that you do is based off of the team, and you know, you're together all the time. It was just like one of those things where I didn't really have a lot of independence in my dancing. And so when I got to the point where I graduated and I had to decide what I wanted to do next, I was really into working out in the bodybuilding. So this is when I started working with Bang, was my junior year of college, my junior or senior year, I can't remember honestly. But I started working with Bang as a model, and that's right when I started, you know, working with my social media and making dance videos. And I was always in love with EDM music and festivals throughout high school, throughout college. That was always like my escape from everything, was going to festivals and concerts. And so I remember the very first time that I saw shuffling. One of the girls on my team had started showing me shuffling videos. My roommate showed me Gabby. I remember seeing Gabby's videos for the first time, and she was like technical and she shuffled, and this inspired the freaking shit out of me. I was like, whatever these girls are doing, I want to do that. And so I remember one of the girls that I had lived with at the time in high school, one of the girls that I had lived with at the time in college knew how to shuffle, knew how to do like the basic Running Man, and she was always trying to teach me, and I was like, no, I can't do that, it's too hard. And then when I saw these girls throwing down on Instagram and freestyling and doing all this stuff, I was like, I'm obsessed with this. And when I decide that I want to learn how to do something, like nothing stands in my way. Like all I want to do is learn how to do it, and until I get it down, like nothing else matters. And so I'm just like laughing at it now. I remember I locked myself in my room and I was like, I'm gonna learn how to do the Running Man and the T-step. And if you go back to my very beginning videos on Instagram, my very first video that I made shuffling was like, God, I think it was at like a carnival, like this small carnival in Texas. And I was like, take a video of me. But I leave all of that stuff up there because even though I had been dancing my whole entire life, shuffling, I started at the basic number one level. I didn't know anything about it. I had barely ever really freestyled in my dancing. Everything was always choreography. So I started to teach myself how to shuffle like right as my dance team stuff with Texas Tech was ending, and right when I was really into the bodybuilding. So I already had my job with Bang, and then I remember seeing these videos of these girls doing the shuffling that I had just discovered with at the Bang booth. And I was like really wanting to go to the events just as a model in the beginning before I even knew that they wanted dancers. And then when I saw the girls dancing, I was like, okay, so I'm gonna learn how to do this, and I want to dance for Bang. And that became like my goal. Like all the dance team stuff, everything that I had trained really hard on went out the window, and I was like, that is the shit that I want to do, because I loved how independent it was. I loved how happy the people making these videos and stuff looked, and it was like nothing I had ever seen before. And so I just became absolutely obsessed with this idea of becoming a shuffler and learning how to dance like these girls that I was watching were dancing. So I got invited to I made my very first Bang video where I'm shuffling, and I was just wanting to get the attention of Bang, of the company that I was already working for. So I was like, hey guys, I'm a dancer. I remember they had like commented on like some of my turd videos and stuff before that I was making, and I just wanted to get invited to one of these events because I just love to perform. Like the idea of performing on a stage at a fitness expo was like everything that I was about, but in one, and it was the job that I knew that I wanted. So I started making shuffling videos for Bang like, God, 3 or 4 years ago. If you go back on my Instagram, they're still up. I cringe when I watch them because I didn't really know how to shuffle, but I just knew that I could practice and get better. And yeah, so I got invited to my very first expo with Bang. This has turned into like a whole entire story time of like everything, but I hope that you guys like this. I got invited to my very first expo with Bang, which was the Dallas Europa, and it was the show that I had competed bikini bodybuilding in the year before, and where I had met Jack and Meg, which are the owners of the company. So it was like a huge thing for me that I had competed the show the year before and gotten signed with the company to come and work the expo the following year. It was a huge goal of mine. So I got invited as a shuffler to this event, and I barely knew how to shuffle. Like, I'm just gonna come out and say it, but I knew how to dance, I knew how to perform. Obviously, I had been dancing my whole entire life. I was like, I got this in the bag. I'm gonna kill it. I was very confident in my position that I was being offered. And so this was the very first time that I met Vanessa Secco. She's my best friend. This is where we met. I have so many memories. This is also where I met Lucci, who's my other best friend. So yeah, that was my very first time dancing at the Bang booth, and this is kind of like what paved the career that I have now with my job and with my dancing. So after this event that I did in Texas is when I started getting invited to like all of these different events that Bang was putting on. I did like almost every single event with Bang that following year and then last year, and that's kind of like brought me to where I am now. And so along with doing these events with Bang, my training kind of turned into shuffling all the time. So I went from like this technically trained dance team to practicing by myself all the time for this job that I had with Bang. And that's when I started making my videos. I was still living in Texas at this time because when I graduated from Texas Tech, I had signed a lease to stay there another year. And then when I was traveling with Bang all over the place, I decided that I wanted to be in a bigger city. It was really hard for them to fly me from such a small place in Texas, and so I wanted to be somewhere else. And that's when I had always wanted to go to LA, like I said, literally since I was 13. And then I had kind of put the idea away when I got comfortable in Texas, and I was like, I'm just gonna do these dance teams. And then when I started doing my independent kind of dancing with Bang is when I feel like Bang made me into the dancer that I am now, because it gave me so much confidence with performing by myself and with being okay with who I am as a dancer instead of who I am with a team. And that's what I love about shuffling so much, that I can just dance for myself and it's really independent. And so I moved from Texas to LA January 2 years ago in January. On literally the 1st of January, I drove to California, and my goal was just to dance and to pursue what I wanted to do when I was 13. So all of the stuff that I did growing up is where I get my turns, my tricks, the different stuff that I like, the breakdancing tricks, like all of that stuff is from like when I was 8 years old, when I whip out my turns and stuff. It's all this training that I developed over my life is what I put into the dancing that I literally learned how to do 3 or 4 years ago. And all of this being said, like everything that you want to do, everything that you want to learn is achievable. Like I remember being 8 years old and watching the girls do Alice Cone turns, and all I wanted to do was turn like them. And so I practiced and I practiced and I practiced. And then when it became the shuffling videos that I was obsessed with, all I wanted to do was learn how to shuffle like these girls. All I wanted to do was perform on a stage, and that's when I learned how to shuffle. Like no matter what you put your mind to, anything is achievable. And I hope that you can take that away from this video, and I hope that this helps you guys kind of understand where my style of dancing now comes from. So like a short recap of everything that I've said, I grew up doing ballet, and then I competed with Academy of Colorado Ballet. I competed jazz, hip hop, tap. I took breakdancing classes. I took every single thing that you could take to pursue dance when I was that age. And then I did dance team and a dance company in high school. And then I did my college dance team, and then I started shuffling, and now I live in LA. And now I just dance all the time. I do the content for my Instagram. I take classes here in LA. I'm trying to get into pursuing some other styles that hopefully you guys will see soon. Yeah, so I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Comment and let me know if you want to talk about any of this, or if you want another video like this. Comment and let me know. I love you guys. Thanks for watching.